Aloha and welcome back to another episode of Stay at Home Blues and Oranges, brought to you by After School All Stars Hawaii. I'm Miss Chrysa and I'm the site coordinator at Kuhai and Paula Elementary School. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, follow, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of our new videos. And please make sure you follow at All Stars Hawaii on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to stay connected with us. In today's video, I'll be teaching you how to make two things in gardening: a mini greenhouse and an upside down planter. And here's what you'll need in today's activity: a container of any size, a big water bottle, a small water bottle, dirt, you can get that in your backyard, seeds or old fruits or vegetables, a plant that is already grown, scissors, a box cutter, tape, and an old t-shirt. In this step, you're going to need your plastic water bottle and your scissors. And make sure when you're holding your scissors, you're holding it like this for safety reasons. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut off the top piece from the bottom piece. So wherever your line draws, we're going to cut it like this. So you have two pieces that look like this. And after you're done cutting it, you can toss away the top one because we won't be needing it. But if you want to go a little bit higher and have a higher bottom, that's totally fine. You can cut it to your preference. So at this moment, you can pause the video to cut your bottom. So now that we got our bottom piece cut, we're going to need to fill this up with dirt. So now we can go into our backyard and scoop some dirt. So now we're going to scoop our dirt from our ground into our bowl. And we're just going to need it filled to the top. So we're going to dig like this. And just don't be afraid to pack it and put all the dirt inside. The more the dirt, better. Just like that. So as you can see, now we're gonna start planting our seeds into our cup. As you can see, I have seeds that I had from the store, or I had old fruit. I have a papaya and I have some old strawberries. So if you have any old fruit in your icebox, don't throw it away because you can use the seeds to plant new ones, to grow new ones. So now I'm gonna grab a strawberry and I'm gonna plant this. So I'm just gonna create a little hole or whatever, and then I'm just gonna pinch it so you can see the seeds all coming out. I'm just gonna add it into the soil. You can add as much seeds as you want to. It's fine. Or you could pluck them out with a eyebrow plucker or a toothpick. It works just fine, but I'm gonna just scrape it off and use the skin as some nutrients. And after we got a bunch of seeds in there, we are going to plant. Like that. So now we're going to use a box cutter. If you have a box cutter, I really recommend you having your parents help you with this because it could be dangerous. But when you do have a box cutter, we just need it to be a little ways out. Make sure it's locked and the blade is away from you. So what we're going to do is we're going to just poke some holes in this, in the sides. And what that is going to do is this will allow water to go into the plant, so you don't have to keep watering it. It'll self-water itself. Like that. You could also use your scissors. I know having a scissors is a bit challenging, but making sure when you're doing it with your scissors, you're kind of just staying away from yourself and just cutting into the bottle. You can cut holes at the bottom if you want, or at the side. It's all up to you. So now we're gonna get our big bottle, and we're just like our small bottle, we're gonna cut the top from the bottom. So we're gonna get our scissors, and making sure when we're carrying our scissors, the blade is facing down and our hand is on the blade. And we're just gonna cut off the bottom. So at this time, you can pause the video so you can cut 2 bottle pieces and it should look like this at the end. Okay, so now since we got our bottle into 2 pieces, we're gonna keep both of them. And we're just gonna grab our water, and don't worry, this was a reusable bottle. I had an empty water bottle laying down and I just filled it up with water. We're just gonna fill the water about 1/4 way up, like this. Then, after that, we are going to add our plant that has all our holes now. Just gonna add it in there, like that. And after that, you will grab your tape, like this, and you will cut that piece off, and you'll lay this down. And we are going to tape the top part back together. Sorry, mine's kind of ugly, but we're going to take it one time. And it should look something like this. You can take the plastic off so you can see inside. If you don't have 2 separate bottles and you only have a small one, it's okay. Instead of throwing your top part off from your small one, you can just use that top part on it, but you're just gonna have to keep watering your plant. And then if you have a water cap, you can just add it on and you put it outside, and this should act like a mini greenhouse and it'll help your plant grow faster. If you have a little starter that already sprouted and you want to put in here, you can. You don't have to start it from seeds, but this is how your mini greenhouse should work. And then you should grab your pen, write down what you just planted or what's in it, which is I have a strawberry in here, and then the date we planted this, so April 30th. And then that way we can track how long it took for our plant to grow and just know when we did this and what is it. So now that we finished with our mini greenhouse, I'm going to show you how to make an upside down planter. As you can see, I have 2 tomato plants here that I grew in my last video. I transplanted them into little containers so that they could grow bigger. I'm just going to show you how you can make an upside down planter. So you can use either containers. I have one right here, a fiber container that I have, or an easier one is a less thicker container, and it can be any size. And I also have right here an empty tennis ball container. It's smaller, so then after it grows a bit bigger, you're gonna have to transplant it into something bigger. But how this works is when the tomato plant is hanging down, it grows nicely instead of on the ground, and it grows all viney all over the place. It'll just grow straight down nicely, and the fruit will be able to blossom bigger and nicer. So now in this first step, we're gonna take our container, which I have right here, and we're gonna cut holes in the sides. So we're gonna have one hole over here and one over here, and then we're gonna have one hole at the bottom. So you can go with your pen and you can just mark where you want your holes and just circle where you want your holes on your bottles. So remember, don't make your holes on the cap side because we need that to stay open. Make your hole on the underneath and make it the size of your plant. So then if you make it too big, then your plant can fall through, and if you make it too small, then your plant isn't going to be able to fit. So measure how wide your plant is. You can eyeball it and just make a circle, and then just make it as wide as how the plant is. So now we're going to grab our scissors and make sure we're holding our scissors like this for safety reasons, and you're just going to open it and you're just going to hold right here. Okay, not on the blade, not on anywhere. You're just going to hold right here, and you're just going to cut holes, twisting away from the body, and it should go in like so. And I got one hole, and I'll flip it on the other side and I'll do the same. And I'm just gonna do the same. You don't have to put, you just can put a little bit pressure, but always twisting away from the body. That way you can create a hole over here. And when I flip the thing over, I'm gonna use my box cutter because my scissors isn't that strong enough or sharp enough to go through this, because I did choose a bit of a thicker container. So I'm gonna open my box cutter. I'm gonna lock it. Okay, here it locked, so it can't move. And I'm gonna be going hands to the side, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of pressure in and just let it do its work. And I do recommend, if you're using a box cutter, to always have your parents with you just in case. So now that we got our 2 holes on the side and our hole on the underneath, we're gonna put this aside and we're gonna get our old t-shirt, okay? And we're just gonna lay it and we're just gonna cut it. Make sure you get your parents' permission to cut your t-shirts, and don't be cutting off my nice shirts. So with my old shirt, I'm just gonna cut it up like that. You can cut how much ever you want. I'm just gonna If you have string at home, you can use the string, but I didn't have, so I'm using an old t-shirt. That's why. Now that we got our shirt cut into a big piece, we're just gonna cut long strips. Okay? So I'm just gonna cut a few long strips. And don't worry, your cut doesn't need to be the nicest. It can be all whatever, because this will just be to hold our container up. Now that we got our strips cut up, we're gonna tie it together. So don't tie the ends, just tie them all together. And so we're just gonna tie it in a knot like this. All together. So it looks like that, one big strip. Now we're gonna get our container, I'm gonna open it. And then we're gonna grab our plant. I'm just gonna take it out of its container, like so. And we're just gonna stick it in through the hole. And when you put your plant in and you pull it out, it should look like that. And it's okay if you pull some leaves off, it'll grow back. So now that we got our plant in, we're gonna tie our shirts into our holes. And we're just going to knot it like how we did to the top. So we're just gonna pull it in like that. So I made my holes a little bit tight, so I didn't need to tie it, but then it should look something like that. Now we're gonna go into the yard and fill this up with dirt. Now we're gonna fill this up with dirt. So we're just gonna, don't be afraid to pack it now. So now you should have an upside down planter that looks like this. If you have a smaller bottle or a container and you need to transplant it later on when it gets bigger, you can transplant it. So if I just hang it here, then it should look like that, and then we can just water it. And then we can check on it in a few days. So let's go over what we learned today. So we learned that we don't have to go to the store and get a big greenhouse. We can make a mini one ourselves out of water bottles. We also learned that we don't have to buy an upside down planter. We can make it ourselves with containers or old things that we find around our house. And we also learned that if we have old fruits or vegetables in our fridge, we can use that as seeds instead of going to the store and buying them ourselves. Thanks for watching and being a part of our All-Star Ohana. Please share this video and leave a comment on what you liked and what you would like to see next. Aloha!